Oh, that's
just his chicks. Okay,
that's great.
girls.
Should we be like what?
No, we're just gonna be like nearby, looking cute.
Here.
Girl. No,
We should be right in front of him.
This is
It
great.
needs to be seen by the camera.
So it was on January 25th that Bourbon and Heather, and Irv and Sarah arrived at Tito's abode, Puerto Bacarizo Moreno, on the island of San Cristobal. So we first headed to our comfortable digs, Casa de Nelly, got something to eat, and took a little trip up to the highlands, where we noticed it was really raining. We headed down to the Galapaguera, saw our first giant tortoises, to the beach where we saw our first sea lions, and then headed out towards the lighthouse on the point,
Sí, es más suave cuando hay sol,
where there were
luz y todo, ¿no?
huge waves. The aguaje had flown in the spring tide, where we could see many surfing, including this lovely woman's boyfriend. And as it approached 6:14, time of sunset, we saw the red glow occurring in the due west. Surfers rolling down these 15-foot waves. And we got in our taxi filled with zillions of wacko lights.
Great.
And it took us to town where the giant mosaic swordfish graces town. We had a little bit with this woman from Europe, Caroline, who gave us her opinions about things. She's an incredibly brilliant 21-year-old. And then together we went to Mariana's place called Barquero, where she, who's recorded every famous person's picture and voice and words in her countless notebooks, has now recorded Lee Marvin, aka Tito Craig. She has the boat used in Pirates of the Caribbean. And here we see a picture of Lee Marvin, actor de cine. Next morning we took off for Isabela. Our pilot, Pablo Ruiz, is a handsome, talented fellow who took us in his 9-person
So Heather, are you excited?
airplane. We thought we might get green.
Heather, are you
Irving, you got a stainless steel post in your tie?
so excited.
Burton, what's your attitude today?
So Pablo took off from the airport in San Cristobal. We headed out over the Pacific. Of course, we were 600 miles from the continent, with very little interference from clouds. We moved over Santa Fe, Santa Cruz, and over these various crater-like appearances below us, and approached and then landed in the little tiny town of Villamil, population 3,000, on the island of Isabela. Isabela is the largest of all. We met our host, the unforgettable Papita, or Pablo.
Mucho gusto, Pablo.
Mucho gusto.
Pablo. Perfect. Hola. Pablo. Hola. Bienvenidos.
Little Potato had an incredible story, much of which revolved around making 1,000 pounds of potatoes into potato chips. Herb and I spent one day up at the volcano Sierra Negra, the Black Mountains, and then the Chico volcano, the little volcano, Then we all headed over to the Wall of Tears, where prisoners were forced to pile hundreds of thousands of stones, suffered until they were finally freed. And we noticed there were a lot of wild tortoises there. Much to our amazement, Sarah is next to one of the babies. It's probably only about 20 or 30 years old. We did this all on a bike. Our bikes took us to the trail where we headed up an overlook to notice these incredible cacti. Villamil was like an old western town, guarded by the Catholic Church, boobies on the altar, and of course a 9-foot tall Jesus. It was a full moon, so it was very auspicious. The building was going up all night long with the welding. And we noticed there was quite a scene in Villamil. It might have been a small town, but people like Papita and others made the parrillada, meaning the grilled areas, filled with people. Next day we headed off for our final destination, which was Santa Cruz. We headed over this really famous, beautiful island, Daphne Minor, saw the cruise boats in Baltra, and landed on the little tiny island of Baltra, which is the main airport in the Galapagos. Went to the Loberia, the place where the sea lions stay.
Hola.
Swam with them, noticed the kids.
¿Cómo estás?
Hola.
Basically, we felt enveloped by the people of the Galapagos. Everybody had a laid-back vacation, imitating sea lions, swimming, flipping, and essentially realizing how the wildlife is just the way we'd like to see ourselves, being outdoors, being healthy, and basically unstressed, like these kids. What a paradise for kids. All day long until sunset. Kids were leaping up here, observing the sea lions, playing with the pelicans.
How cute that girl is.
So in the end, we felt like giving a cheer for the iguanas, the sea lions, the kids, pelicans, and for ourselves and our good friends Bob and Carol who'd come out from San Francisco. Maybe most of all, aside from a family trip and friends, we're going to remember who we played with, the kids, and maybe most of all the sea lions and the iguanas.